Hey everyone, this is not a review video, it's just some more commentary about a camera. So it's a photography video. And I've previewed this, I think I did an unboxing the other day for this camera, and it's basically the Fuji Finepix X100. It's a 2011 camera that is extremely hard to get right now. It's got a lot of buzz going, and I just happened to get lucky and was able to get one. I'll start off by saying that this camera is not for everyone. This camera is a tool to do specific types of photography. It's very well known for street photography because it's small and compact and, you know, good quality. I would say that if you're just getting into photography and you have an interest that's wider than just the normal point and shoot, take a picture of your friend or family and be done with it, and if you really want to try photography, don't spend your money on this particular camera. Get a lower end or less expensive DSLR camera from Canon or Nikon. Basically, those ones are, if you really want to get into it, that's what you should start with. This one, this Fuji Finepix, in my opinion, is more for a photographer or advanced hobbyist that already has the DSLR and wants something that is more lightweight, compact, and travels better. So that's, I think, the market that these are going for. Based on that, my opinion of the target market, there's other companies that I think are also going after that market. And if you look at this older camera I've had, it's the Canon S90, and this one is definitely a point and shoot. And I think the market that I described is exactly what Canon was going after here, is that people that already had a DSLR, they want something more mobile, more faster, but it has some advanced features. Specifically, what interested me in this one was it shoots in RAW format, so I can use my Lightroom and all my normal tools that I use with my DSLR. So shoots in RAW, I can manipulate the files. And it also had the ability to have manual controls on the camera. So basically you can switch it to different aperture mode, shutter speed mode, and then adjust the dials up front and adjust that way. And the reality is that the sensor on this S90 is just not big enough. It's not a large DSLR sensor, and so when you have a smaller point and shoot sensor, having these manual controls and shooting in RAW really doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for me. Sure, this is probably, at the time, this was the best point and shoot camera out, but as far as having a deep background blur or anything like that, the small sensor just is not going to do it. So I was actually disappointed in this camera because it didn't meet some of my needs in that area. So in comes the Fuji Finepix, and the difference is, sure, it is a little bit bigger. It is a lot bigger, but it's also a lot smaller than a normal DSLR. I'm shooting on my Canon 5D Mark II. And this has the old rangefinder style that's been around for decades that I think Leica made popular. And the difference again is this has a larger sensor. So it basically has a DSLR sensor in a small compact body. And the picture quality with this really reflect it. So for me, and I just got it, have taken a number of pictures, need to do some more testing, etc. But very much a difference between these two so far. And you can achieve background blur on this. You can do all kinds of things that really a larger DSLR is capable of. It doesn't replace it. Keep that in mind. It's in between. So let's talk more about the features of this. And again, it has the metal body. It has all these traditional controls on it. So you can adjust the shutter speed up here. This little A icon is automatic mode. Okay, so the A is automatic mode for the shutter speed. The let's see here, the aperture control is on the ring here. So you can see that I can go all the way down to an aperture of 2, steps up to 2.8, 4, 11, 16, and then again A is the automatic mode, and again you can just easily adjust it by the dial here. Lens cap, okay, I'll keep that off for just a little bit. And what else? You have the standard flash hot shoe. You can buy Fuji external flashes for this. It does have a built-in flash that seems to be pretty adequate so far. You have the exposure compensation here. You can go to 0, you can go all the way up to +2, you can go all the way down to -2. And you have a custom function button that I'm using for ISO switching right now. Okay. Over here you have different focusing methods, speaking of. Okay, the bottom one, AFC, is kind of a more continuous autofocus. The AF-S, from what I can tell so far, is just when you press the button, that's when it focuses. And then the top one, MF, is of course manual focus. Okay, so on the right side you have the HDMI ports. You have on the bottom a standard tripod mount. Okay. You have a battery spot down below. And one of the complaints that I've read online about the X100 is the battery doesn't last too long, maybe about 100 to 150 pictures. I have not run into that problem yet. I have not had any decrease in battery at all. You know, I shoot and then charge when I'm not shooting, but I've never run out of batteries so far. That being said, I've also, because of what I've read online, I've purchased a backup battery. And amazingly, off of Amazon, they're only like $8, $9. So NP-95 is the battery. $9, go ahead and buy another one. You have to make sure you put the battery in correctly because it will fit in 2 different ways, and that kind of stumped me when I first got it. I got all scared why I wasn't turning on. It takes the standard HD cards, and again, people say get the fast ones. I agree, yeah, sure, the fast ones probably are helpful with this camera, but I was using a slower one and I found it still usable. So I got a 16 gig, 45 megabytes a second Extreme Pro SanDisk card here. And make sure I'm putting it in correctly, which I'm not there. Okay, just push it in. And this thing confused me a little bit at first too. You have to, it's not a snap, right? So you just have to, when you close it, move it over to the right. Okay, so what else? On the front, you have the viewfinder, you have the flash, you have some red-eye tools and some night lighting, and then this cool feature, which I'll talk about here in a minute, You can put a camera strap on these metal sides here. It came with one. The camera's so small it seems a little odd with the camera strap to me. So I'm using this little wrist strap that I actually pulled off the Canon S90, but I have some other accessories on the way here for this one. So obviously LCD screen on the back. You want to turn it on and you just go to the top. I have found that it's very easy to accidentally hit the on and off switch. It's just this little dial here, and I have bumped it a couple times and tried to figure out what's going on. The other interesting thing about this camera is that it really is, some features are old school. If you look closely here, you can see that the shutter button has the ability to screw in a button. I think they call it a soft release. So you can get these plastic knobs that screw in here, and it makes your shutter button just a little bit bigger. To me, that's kind of, I don't know, there's no impact to me kind of using what came with the camera here. But if you did want to upgrade, it's only like $2.95 for a little plastic one. Okay, so what else do we have here? Let's get into, and here's the model specs again. So, a little pause there. The viewfinder's smart enough to know that I don't have my eye up there, so I can't show you the internal contents of the actual viewfinder here. But what's happening is that the viewfinder is not only the normal traditional lens, kind of lens-based viewfinder, but it also will put an LCD image right over it, and you get all the digital readout in there as well. And the first time you look through it and you kind of play with it, you get a big wow factor to go, whoa, that I can't believe that you know, it's in the camera here. So that is really neat. I use the view part of this, the viewfinder, all the time. So I think that I should probably end the video at this point, let you know, give you an opportunity to ask some questions, but there's all kinds of other features that I'll talk about as far as panoramas and processing the files and the dynamic range. And again, the summary is, the point of this one is it has a small body but a big sensor. So thanks, folks.